Wow. So My Hero Academia chapter 292, I ain't even gonna lie, I'm being so serious right now. I don't know if I've ever seen this much of a mixed reaction. Maybe, but in terms of with My Hero Academia, this has been split down the middle. I'm sure the comment section is probably going to contradict what I'm saying, but from what I've seen on social media, Twitter in particular, I've seen some strong mixed reaction. On one hand, and spoiler alert, you shouldn't be on a manga review if you don't want to be spoiled by what I'm about to tell you. Just giving you the heads up. The ending of My Hero 292, and we're going to talk about all of it, but in particular, the ending. I've seen on one half, there is a lot of people that are just genuinely excited. They got a lot of questions as to what the heck, how did it happen with Mirio's return with his quirk. There's a lot of people going crazy on that side, right? A lot of people are just nuts, excited, all of that jazz, because we just witnessed, especially in the anime not that long ago, the feat that he took at the hands of Overhaul and losing his quirk thanks to that bullet. So people have questions, but they're genuinely excited. On the other half, there are people that are very, very disappointed, that were wishing that Mirio didn't get his quirk back so soon. They're just not happy about it. Again, they also have their questions like, well, how did it even happen? But for the most part, they're just very, very disappointed with that aspect of the chapter and of the story. So we got a mixed bag. I'm going to tell you where I lie in between all of that. I'm going to tell you what I think about the whole Makia Best Jeanist situation. I'm going to tell you how I feel about Dabi and Shoto. I'm going to tell you a lot of things. But in terms of the Mirio situation, whether good or bad, you cannot deny that it was a huge moment, and My Hero Academia to the bitter end of 2020 has been a shining light in the world, because my gosh, talk about being hyped, talk about being excited about something, talk about just getting people fired up in one way or another to chat, because this was one hell of a chapter. Again, it feels as though My Hero Academia, it reminds me of back in the day when the big three, Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach, and I would feel like every chapter was one-upping each other or trying to, like, you know, they were coming for each other's neck. Kubo, Oda, and Kishimoto. It feels like that again in the magazine with this week. Like every chapter was just like hype. One Piece, Chainsaw Man, Black Clover, just everything in the magazine was going crazy. And it feels as though My Hero Academia not only was competing with what was released in the magazine, but it feels as though each and every chapter, Horikoshi is competing with himself of how can I top last week? How can I top the last big thing that had my fans loving this series, going crazy for this series? And yeah, we got lots to talk about, fam. So without further ado, let's talk some of that My Hero Academia greatness. Lemillion, Mirio, welcome back to the fold, fam. Let's talk, mate.
I say we gonna do what we do, no matter how you move, make your move. That's how it be, though.
So the chapter begins, and a big portion of the chapter, I mean, for the most part, here and there, he was in it and surrounding big events and whatnot. Best Jeanist, he's back and already whipping ass. And to be honest with you, I feel as though, like I said in last week, but even more so this week, seeing him tie up Makia, whether it's that he's going to eventually get free, whatever the case may be, but the way they're positioning Best Jeanist is hands down that Endeavor and Hawks are no longer going to be in the equation of top heroes. You could argue maybe Hawks, maybe if the information gets out right, of like, hey, you know, the way Twice was defeated was a bit different and altered or whatever, and also the fact of Hawks' past, like he can't help that his father was that way, so Hawks might be redeemable. Endeavor, they're going to cancel him, but I think both of them, to be honest with you, I think the big takeaway from everything I'm seeing with Best Jeanist in this chapter and last chapter, but especially this chapter, is he's going to be the new #1 hero. It seems as though the way he came into the scene, the attitude that he has, how he's maneuvering, he feels like a real #1 hero. He feels like, even though I would argue that strength-wise, he's not the replacement that we exactly would love ideally, but in terms of just the total package in comparison to Endeavor or Hawks, it seems as though Best Jeanist is the best replacement we have for All Might, since All Might has stepped down as a hero, as the #1 hero. Feels as though Best Jeanist is the best replacement we got. Again, he's not ideal. I don't feel as though, like, you know, his fiber powers, he's strong, he's all of that. I mean, he's #3, right? If I'm not mistaken, he's #3. But in terms of just the way they are setting him up, the coming in at the right time and having the right words and immediately wrapping up Makia and everything and putting a stop to Toya's dastardly deeds, I think at the very least the organization as well is going to feel like, the public might rock with him the most too, and this is all set up again for Best Jeanist to become #1 hero, because he has that vibe. He gives me that All Might vibe. He's just like a scrawnier, gene-loving version of All Might, which if you think about it, it's kind of also in a small way, and I don't know if this is intentional or not with Horikoshi, but if the whole spandex era was All Might and whatnot, and to a certain degree Endeavor, Best Jeanist is like, yo, heroes, we don't wear spandex anymore, fam. We wear jeans now. So maybe, I don't know. But Bakugo's back on his feet, even though you could still see that he is really, really wrecked. He's wiping blood off and shit, and don't get me wrong, yeah, he got off of Ida's arms for a moment, but he's still woozy. So Bakugo, he's on his feet, but I don't know how much of a help he'll be, especially considering we got like Best Jeanist on the scene now. Hopefully Best Jeanist can do his best. No pun intended there, but Bakugo, again, he's not going to be that much help. And I mean, we need all the help we can get, but in terms of like, he's really, really wrecked, man. He almost just died a couple of chapters back with the whole thing of Shigaraki blasting that chain and shit. So we gotta wait to see, but either way, he's back on his feet. And then Dabi is confused. He's like, yo, wasn't you supposed to be dead? That was a real dead body. What the hell? Y'all done bamboozled me. And I said it last week, and I'll say it again. One of the big things is it does feel disappointing to a certain degree in terms of from looking from the perspective of the villains and the way it should play out, because it is going to discredit Dabi. It is going to discredit everything else that Dabi said, unfortunately, because he does have some merit. Even though we love Endeavor, even though I personally want to see him be redeemed in every facet, you cannot deny what he's done. You cannot deny it, and you cannot deny what Toya is saying. It's just that now, with the whole thing of the last thing he said of Best Jeanist was killed by Hawks, they're going to discredit a lot of, if not everything that he said before that, because, well, you just said Best Jeanist was dead and he showed up. Stop capping. I mean, you know how it goes. Like, if you've ever seen any sort of stuff with like celebrities and shit, they say one thing and there's like a little fallacy somewhere, and then next thing you know, everybody is just turning against him and shit. So there's a big possibility that Dabi is going to look like a liar because of the Best Jeanist thing. It's going to, at the very least, again, it casted a seed of doubt in what he said regarding Endeavor and them, but it's still curtains. No matter what, there's still a seed of doubt on the other side, on the flip side, against Endeavor. So they're gonna have to get rid of Endeavor, and more than likely again Hawks. And then the League is in disbelief. They're like, yo, Makia, what the hell? How the hell is he already tied up and shit like that? Like, isn't he supposed to be like limitless and whatnot? And Spinner deduces the fact that Makia, the problem with him is that if he doesn't have any orders, if he doesn't know what to do next, he's kind of screwed. He's kind of almost useless in a way. Spinner's like, yo, when he had orders from Shigaraki, when he had orders from this one and that, the people that he listened to, well, mainly Shigaraki, he was able to move. So he's kind of almost incapacitated because Shigaraki is knocked out there and not telling him what to do next. It's like, well, shit, what do I do? It's kind of, again, think of shonen, you know, friendship power-ups, but for the villain side, Makia needs those. He thrives off of, like, tell me what to do, fam, and I'll do it. And since he's not being told what to do, it's kind of like, well, Best Jeanist got him wrapped the hell up there. And there was like 2 parts in here where I was a little bit confused or whatnot, because following that, Spinner tries to wake up Shigaraki. He's like, yo, fam, get up. Makia can't do shit right now. And then while he's doing that, the very next page we show that Nejire gets blasted with flames, and I wasn't sure, was that Shigaraki that like he woke up for a second and blasted out some of the flames that Endeavor had hit him with, and it was like a reflex, so to speak, or was that Dabi that hit Nejire with the flames? Either way, that was tragic. And then the dialogue that came following that with Dabi saying, so another young soul that Endeavor done ruined their life with his flames. And I was just like, oh, this is so dark. I feel bad. And, you know, Nejire, poor Nejire, man, the old big 3 take, like, honestly, I feel as though, or I wish, shall I say, she would have done more. And what I mean is, because she was starting to throw down and whatnot, but kind of getting blasted off like that, and if she's completely out the fight at this point after getting, she looked like she got roasted and shit, it's gonna suck, because I felt as though this was a big time for her to shine. And especially now with them bringing at the end of the chapter Mirio into the fold, is like, damn, you substituted Nejire out for Mirio, and it's cool and all, I like Mirio, I'm interested to see how he got his powers back and all that stuff, but you kind of shitted on Nejire, just burnt her up, like, we used you for what we could, now get out the way, bitch, like, damn. But then, one of my favorite portions of the chapter is this beautifully drawn image of Shigaraki. He's like in and out of consciousness, barely trying to get up because he got the old itch to destroy, and he gives another order, follow-up to Makia, and he says, yo, destroy, and Makia gets the shonen villain power-up. I love it. I love the flip side of that whole friendship power-up shit, but the villain's utilizing it because he starts going wild there, and I'm like, yes, it showcases, first of all, that Spinner's idea of like, oh, so Makia needs orders in order to be at his best. It's valid, but also it was just like, it was awesome. It really reminds me again of taking what happens with heroes, like you've seen it a billion times in Fairy Tail, for example, where like the heroes like, oh, my friends, but him on a really twisted and messed up way of saying, just destroy, come on fam, you can do it, you can destroy Makia, destroy. And then we cut to an obvious setup. You could argue a plot device or whatnot, because when have we really focused in on this? It's been forever. Where we see like there's 4 Nomu and Burning, which I want to say was Burning one of the assistants to Endeavor. I want to say she was one of the assistants, whatnot. They're fighting against these Nomu and she's about to like get struck down, and then somebody came at the last second to save her, if I'm not mistaken. And I was just kind of like, okay, that was an obvious plot device. It was cool and all. And again, I love this chapter. I don't know what it is, and I'm being so from the heart right now with my fandom. Like My Hero Academia just gets me so freaking excited every week. Like I'm genuinely really in love with this story. Like this shit is just awesome. But I don't know where I was with it. What the hell was I saying? I just got into my fandom mode for a minute of how much I love this series, and I'm like, something about Burning, right? Yeah. But anyway, yeah, there was a big setup there with the Nomu, and then it cuts back to the scene, which again, that was a plot device to bring those Nomu in as a distraction and whatnot. But it was cool to see Burning doing her thing, and it was, I guess, cool in a way to see what happened with them, because it's been so long. Like, well, what happened with the Nomu that they were fighting and shit like that? Like, I think, those were the same Nomu that Mirko was fighting a while ago? Poor Mirko. Then we cut back and Makia is raging against Best Jeanist. If I was Best Jeanist, I probably would have pissed in my jeans. I would have been so scared because Makia is going nuts. He got the shonen villain power up that I love right now. And I'm like, oh. And then we cut to a really interesting, because like there's a lot of parts, like you can see that already when Nejire got burnt up, that Todoroki, Shoto, he was devastated by it. He was like, yo, because you know they were supposed to team up. Who knows, maybe that'd be a nice pairing. That's an interesting pairing, Nejire and Shoto. I mean, it'd be an upperclassman with a younger one, but I don't know, maybe there was some feelings there, just saying, more than heroes. I don't know, maybe I'm just interjecting of how I would be if I was Shoto. But we get this clash of Shoto and Dabi, and Shoto's like, yo, you don't feel anything? You almost had Natsu killed with those Nomu you sent to attack. You don't feel? And he's like, yo fam, feelings? I'm sorry, I don't got no feelings, fam. If anything, I would have enjoyed. That would have hurt Endeavor. I'm sad that it didn't happen, because then Endeavor didn't get to suffer a little more. And I'm like, shit, he's crazy. he's batshit crazy. Nichan is crazy. Shoto, you need it. The sooner you understand that and internalize it and digest it, you will understand that is not really your brother anymore. Yeah, biologically, yeah, that's technically Toya, but that's not him anymore. He's nuts. Like, he used to cry to Natsu, and now he's like, if he would have died, that would have been cool, fam. Just let's see the old flame fucker suffer. And Shoto is getting burnt the hell up, so yeah, I don't know, the flames in this chapter was flames in all ways, because Shoto getting burnt up, similar to Nejire, I guess. No, let me stop. Poor Nejire, no. Then those 4 Nomu that was a part of a plot device, like I said, set up, arrive, and you can see that Deku, and I like this. I'm really excited about this, that Deku is there like, oh shit, I can't move. And you know, if this was again like, and I'm not trying to pick on Fairy Tail, but if this was Fairy Tail, clear as day, and that was Natsu is getting up. Natsu is getting up because he needs to protect his friends. But the fact that despite Deku having that speech like, I can't be the useless Deku that I've always been, I gotta get up and help, these no more attacking Best Jeanist, I gotta save him, and he still wasn't getting up right there. Maybe he could have, but the ending, you know, with Mirio showing up, he didn't. I like that. Yes, let Deku stay down for a while. He just fought against the monster Shigaraki. He was just in the Vestige with Nana and all of that. Like, if Shigaraki's there barely conscious on the floor, how the hell is Deku gonna be getting back up just because? So no, keep him down. I was happy with that. I like that. That was good. Keep it that way. But the end of the chapter that has the fandom down the middle, because at that very moment with the Nomu, Mirio pops up out of the ground, obviously having his quirk back, and saves Best Jeanist from the ForneverWorld, because again, Best Jeanist, like, how is he gonna fight ForneverWorld on top of he's already trying to keep Makia at bay? And Mirio's back on the scene, and Deck was like, Lemillion! And the chapter ends, and I'll be honest with you, how can you make a judgment that it's bad when we don't have the answers, fam? We don't know what happened. More than likely, I'm putting my money on it that it has something to do with probably Eri was able to do something, whether it was a freak accident, she was with him, or she finally figured out a small way to do it. Maybe it's not completely back yet. Maybe he only has access to a small percentage of it. Maybe it's similar to and I'm thinking X-Men. Think X-Men right now. Remember, it feels like this was very heavily inspired from X-Men, where that kid, that the blood was able to make people lose their powers and whatnot. What if the way the X-Men movie ended, where I think it was Magneto was able to move his pinky or some shit and lift something with his pinky? I forget exactly what it was, whatnot. But if that's the case, maybe Eddie doesn't completely take away their powers forever. It's only temporary. Maybe that could be why Mirio already has his power back, and maybe it could be slowly coming back. He doesn't have it all the way yet. I don't know, but you cannot be upset about this when we don't got the answers of how he got it. We just seen him back with the powers. I mean, you could argue maybe it's a bit quick, but I think you're more so thinking that it's quick because we just seen it in the anime. Fam, it's been years. It's literally been years, and not in the manga time, but in terms of since that happened, that was a long ass time ago with Overhaul. That was not last year. That was the anime last year. That happened a while ago in the manga, so it feels like it's been enough time. I'm not mad at it at all. I'm excited to see Lemillion. I would argue I need a good explanation, and I don't want it that Eddie is the Dragon Boros. Now, maybe Eddie, had a freak accident. Maybe her power isn't permanent, something like that, but if it's just that Eddie already has it mastered, and it's like, come, All Might, I will save, that's one thing. Do not reverse All Might, and if you reverse All Might, he better die in that arc that he is reversed. I don't want All Might back as the symbol of peace. No, that would be horrible to the story. It better not happen. But in terms of again, we gotta wait and see. But honestly, I didn't knock my enjoyment. The fandom being upset about it didn't knock my enjoyment. I absolutely love this chapter. I thought it was awesome. Best Jeanist about to be #1 hero. I'm curious what you guys think about this biggest question of them all. In fact, I'm only gonna ask this one question. Mirio, how do you feel about him being back? Yay, nay? Again, either way, either side of the spectrum, you have to say, give me the answers before I'm completely dedicated to yay or nay about Mirio's return. I mean, I'm just happy about it. Yeah, fam, let's go, let's do this! And your overall thoughts and expectations for My Hero Academia with chapter 293 and beyond. Oh, man, almost 300, baby. I can't wait. I don't know, 2020 My Hero Academia has went up, really skyrocketed high in my list of enjoyment and overall quality of a manga. This has been bananas. But that is all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga for life. Bye. Have an awesome day. Peace in. Mirio back, baby. Let's go. Best Jeanist, Makia, Shoto versus Dabi. Oh, gotta love that My Hero Academia greatness, boy. Yeah.
It's nights like this, and times like this, that I can give another hit. But I've got this inside a switch, a natural bliss. But